I'll just provide some proof of life sitting here.
Yeah.
Right. So, because I really am alive.
Yeah.
Right. Unlike this. Is this live?
It says we're live.
It says we're live.
Yeah.
Hi.
So Jonna is alive.
I am alive. Sort of not in great shape, but
maybe
I'm alive.
not well, but she's alive.
I'm not well. It's going to take me a while to get well, but I just wanted to pop on because, of course, our lovely man who normally does our beginning cards here decided to run off to the bathroom just as we were going live. I just want to thank everybody because Ian, that annoying little shit, did a GoFundMe, a Give Send Go for me, which is now going to make my next 3 months a lot simpler. So I appreciate all the donations to that. So I'm going to run away and leave him here to do all of this because I'm tired. So I'll be back. Ian, that is.
Promises. Meanwhile,
are we already up?
Yeah.
Support the blanket fort. We need it.
No kidding.
If it gets any more damn humid, we'll be swimming.
We're swimming already.
Yeah. Well,
No
I didn't.
kidding.
I didn't move to Texas to move to friggin' Houston. And King Harvest Coffee, as always, they support us. We support them. Damn good coffee.
Yeah. And they're having a sale, by the way.
Yeah. And Among the Leaves tees for odd little t-shirts.
So we've got several announcements. I'm just going to
That.
that's a sneak peek, like coming later. So isn't that a pretty book? Hooves, Tracks, and Sabers went to number 1. Go us again.
Yep.
We pretty much show up with the orange tags on a fairly regular basis.
All but one this year.
All but one this year, apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a cedar cover, and boy, you can tell. Good book. Excellent book. Which number 1? We got Dave Freer to do the intro, so
Yeah.
Open calls. Speaking of King Harvest Coffee, the King Harvest Coffee Anthology opens on it's already open. Closes here on the 28th. So if you have a coffee story, it closes 28th of June. We'll publish in August. Super Generation with Hinckley Correa is already open, closes in July. So if you've got a superhero story, follow the rules on this one. This one is very tight. There's a framework you've got to follow. Okay? If you don't follow it, I'll turf it back. James Young, who seems to really like us, we're open on the big ones, alternate World War II, closes in July, publishing in August. If you have an alternate World War II,
Pay attention to that one too.
yes.
Got some tight time frames on that.
There, yeah. Also, the stories need to be about World War II. It needs to be a logical deviation from the timeline.
Yep.
All right, guys?
Logical.
Apparently, I am informed that there's a whole bunch of people new to Racketeer Press that don't know who I am.
On Substack, they don't have the vaguest clue of your existence, other than you're a publisher.
They apparently just know I'm a publisher. And much as I find a great deal of glee in this, and I would like to keep it going on, the minions have decided, I have been outvoted, and tomorrow the pink gorilla suit will go up on Substack to introduce people to me. Uh-oh, here comes Jonna.
You said that like you ever have a vote.
Mhm.
No, and then we're going to...
Okay. I published with Peter Nealon in his Spot Reps anthology. I published a little Moroccan turbo murder in Tangiers type story. So I've got my rights back. And what? Not Pinky? Yeah, the pink gorilla suit. Anyway, squirrels roasting. Fuck.
Pete Nealon.
Okay, Pete Nealon. Yes. So They're going to break it. The minions have broken it down into 3 sections, and we're going to serialize it once a week. For the paid subscribers, they'll get it first. All 32 of them. Paid subscribers will get first look at the illustrated as a thank you. We'll get first look at the illustrated story, and then everybody else will get a look at it the following week or something. I don't know. It's up to I just stand out front, look pretty.
Yeah.
And I am assured that not a lot of people have read that story because it didn't go very far. Peter Nealon has a small fan base.
That went far enough.
Yeah. Apparently a whole new audience.
Yeah. And speaking of not knowing who people are,
Not knowing who Jim is.
this is absolutely hilarious because y'all say everybody knows me and I know everybody. Well, I'm going out to Writers Cantina at the end of the month to be a panelist. And I get online this morning, check my mail, and I find this. I'm not going to name the lady because I don't want to embarrass her. It says, "Greetings all. I've scoured the Google group page and sheet panel interest forms. Cannot find an email for J.L. Curtis. She is on a panel with me, writers group, and I'm going to coordinate a Zoom chat. Does anyone know her contact info?" Dina says, "He is Jim Curtis." I don't have his email, but this is his Facebook profile. Gives that. Dave Butler, but he does look good in a skirt. Nathan Shoemate chimes in, "It's a kilt, gall dangish." Dave Butler comes back in a cute Hello Kitty print.
I made that happen.
Yeah. The original poster. Oh, I totally had the wrong J.L. Curtis track down. So my response to this chain was, "Oh, I've seen it. Such friends I have. ... Sigh."
Well, it's better than the alternative.
Yeah.
She just didn't. She didn't realize that J.L. Curtis was Jim. She knew Jim Curtis. She just didn't know J.L. Curtis.
Oh, yeah, Joel, it has been a tale for females.
Yeah,
But, back when I first started publishing, I needed something just far enough off. And I didn't want to go to a true pseudonym. So
I didn't have a choice.
Yeah. Well, I really didn't either, but I kind of wiggle roomed it.
I didn't know yours. Yeah, like I said, there's Jim Curtis that everybody knows, and there's J.L. Curtis, that author up there somewhere.
And I'm known as Old NFO or Cajun to the military folks. So
everyone born on the planet knows Jim. Yeah. So she's obviously the alien undercover agent.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll be making Liberty Con.
We will be. Not like we have a choice.
Yeah.
Speaking of aliens, Alien Family Values is going to launch in 2 weeks. Not this Friday, but next Friday will be Alien Family Values with Sandra Medlock.
Yeah. That'll be a good one.
Oh, yeah.
And speaking of Substacks, I don't have that many paid subscribers. I have 2. I'm going to be...
Everybody's got to start somewhere, Jim.
I'm going to be putting short stories up out of my latest book for the paid subscribers so they get to read it for free. And that'll start next week. Oh, boy. Mikado has a wheelchair coming in.
Whee!
Plan to race him down the Liberty Con hallways.
Turbocharge that sucker.
It'd be like the one the guy out at the VA was testing the other day.
Oh, Lord. Good Lord.
Out in the parking lot. And I mean, this guy's got to be in his 80s. And he's like, "Yay, I'm gonna figure out how to drive this damn thing. And the guy is running after him, going, slow down, sir, slow down.
Slow down my ass.
Yeah. So he finally gets him corralled and back in the VA. And the guy's hauling butt down the hallway. And he's looking back, going, which door do I have to turn into? Oh my God, it's going to be a hell of a wreck. Oh,
Jado bottle. Whee!
yeah.
Twin turbos.
Yeah, Kermit, I could believe this guy would do that. Yeah, Okaloosa, the sheriff fired the deputy that killed the airman. That's not enough. There's no way that's enough. There were so many things wrong with that.
I don't think I've been off of social media other than posting my memories, so I don't know.
Black Air Force airman in his apartment. They do a standard knock and take the door type deal.
Oh, Jesus.
And kid doesn't know who they are.
Of course not.
There's questions as to whether or not they properly identified themselves.
The body cam should clear that up. Oh, let me guess.
He did come out of his room apparently with a gun in his hand, which I don't blame him. I'd have done the same thing.
The same damn thing.
And capped him immediately.
Yeah, of course he did.
Yeah. So, yeah. But, yeah, I got folded and spindled this morning, so there is not enough Advil for today, plus the heat and the humidity. You know, I really don't want to friggin' swim.
I hate breathing through a hot, wet blanket.
Yeah, and we got more rain coming this weekend.
Oh.
Yeah.
And the hell of it is as much rain as we've got, very little of it actually landed in the watershed.
Oh, actually, some of it did.
Well, last I checked, our 3 main feeder lakes are at 70%. Of course, that was a couple of days ago.
They're getting up there now. But yeah, we would Lake Wichita actually has water in it.
That's a mistake.
Yeah. Well, it's actually back up by the American Legion post.
For those of you who don't know, Wichita Falls, Wichita County went through a hell of a drought.
Yeah.
Jim actually showed up midway towards the end of the drought.
The first go around.
Yeah. I mean, we had a biblical one. It was nasty. And Lake Wichita pretty much dried up all the way. And a whole bunch of us were yelling, hey, now that it's dried up, I know for a fact the Seaton County have bulldozers and front end loaders and backhoes. Why don't y'all get out there, spend a couple of weeks digging it deeper so when the rain does get here.
Yeah.
And they didn't.
Yeah, and it's been running over the spillway for a week. But we finally got water back up by the Legion.
If they'd have dug the damn thing down 20 or 50 feet, we'd have been. And Arrowhead's the same way. Arrowhead, which is one of our main feeder lakes.
Yeah.
We feed from Arrowhead, Diversion, and Kemp.
Yeah.
Kemp is so much salt in it that one's a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
It's also one that's 100% full. Diversion and Arrowhead are running 70-80 last time I checked.
Yeah.
And if Arrowhead was damn near dried all the way up, and if the county had got run out there with backhoes and spent a week, 4 hours a day for a week, digging it out, they could have sold the dirt to farmers. Because trust me, lake bed dirt
is good dirt.
Farmers will buy that crap. They'll buy it by the dump truckload. So their big thing is Lake Ringgold. Ringgold is an incorporated area in Clay County, east of us, and City Wichita wants to do the Lake Ringgold, which is supposed to provide for our water for whatever. Only issue with that I have is at least one of the city councilmen, when it was first floated, said, "Oh, if we have Lake Ringgold, we can sell water to the Metroplex."
Yeah, well, they've been trying to do that for 30 years.
Yeah. If we need it that bad, we don't need to be selling it to the Metroplex.
Yeah.
Also, there are a lot of small ranchers And y'all know I have a thing for small ranchers. There are a lot of small ranchers in northern Henrietta or northern Clay County. They're going to get turfed off their land by Lake Ringgold.
Yeah.
And the city of Wichita is not going to pay them enough.
They never do. Eminent domain is a thing.
Yeah, they'll eminent domain it and not pay the little ranchers. And there's a whole bunch of small ranchers out there, like almost 20 of them. And they won't pay them. They'll pay them diddly squat.
Yeah. Yeah, well. All right, on to brighter news. Because we've been too negative too many times lately. I didn't even
get a twitch.
Didn't get a twitch or an eye. No, got an eyebrow.
Got an eyebrow.
It's so nice when I don't have to point out the obvious.
Ouch. Ow.
Yes, dear.
Be nice, she's healing. Yes. Oh, and everybody that donated to her Give, Send, Go, thank you.
Yeah.
Oh my God, yes.
Thank you so very much. We do appreciate it.
Yes, Tom. Behold the power of the eyebrow.
John Manstroy.
Robin's got a hell of an eyebrow too.
John Manstroy asked, Ian, can you take rabbits year-round here in Texas? If you have a hunting license, yes.
Yes.
However, I wouldn't. If you're taking rabbits for eating, you want to do it after the first frost. Rabbits in North Texas are eat up with worms.
Yeah.
They have little pockets of worms under their skin, and after the first frost, for pest problems, knock yourself out.
Yeah.
Just get a hunting license.
Yeah.
Pick up a hunting license, a sporting store. Get a hunting license. Don't worry about it.
And if you're a veteran, the hunting license is free in Texas.
Yep. Texas loves its veterans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Doug, that's always what happens. Somebody's going to profit off of it.
Like I said, this first thing that somebody said was, "Ooh, we can sell it to the Metroplex."
Yeah.
No, if we need water that bad, we don't need to be selling it.
Yeah.
And they trickle back around.
Yeah.
No, rabbit and squirrel are pretty much year-round critters.
Yeah.
For pest control, whack them. Knock yourself out.
Yeah, tularemia is another thing to look out for. Although most people, I don't know too many people around here that eat rabbit.
Oh, if you hand Rita a rabbit, a skinned rabbit, she will get yum.
Yeah. Yeah, good point, Tom. There's no opportunity for graft if you only cater to local needs. Oh, have fun with that, Liz.
Oh, speaking of predators, is Julie Pascal on here?
No, she's at work.
Apparently, Julie has a very bold coyote tried to take one of her geese right in front of her.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. The coyotes in this area, we've got notched one's ear, and he buggered off, and we haven't seen him back. Coyotes in this area have gotten really familiar with folks.
Yeah.
Now, what I need to do is take some time and build myself a 256 Winchester Magnum and see about teaching the coyotes to fuck off.
Good 22. Because most of the shots you're going to get are going to be less than 100 yards.
I like turning them inside out.
Yeah. Oh. That sucks, Richard. Tree across the garden fence. Yeah.
Oh. So the North American hoofed rat.
Yeah.
I don't mind coyotes. Coyotes are necessary. If you have a rat problem out in your fields, it's because you've knocked off or driven away the predators.
Yeah.
Personally, I prefer foxes, but that's just me.
Hey, Larry, welcome.
Hey, Larry. But the coyotes that get aggressive need to be called.
Yeah. They
really do. If you have aggressive coyotes that aren't scared of you, you need to teach them to be scared.
Yeah.
That's Osama bin Howland was coming through our neighborhood. Hell, he was roaming all the way over to Jim and Cedar's neighborhood.
Yeah.
At night. And he was by himself, which is weird. So I've got little dogs, and that coyote's got to be 30, 40 pounds.
Oh, yeah.
And a 12-pound Chiweenie is a Chiweenie McNugget for those guys. Plus, I dislike coyotes because they kill foxes without and don't do anything with them. They just eliminate the competition.
Yep.
So that guy, he's in the neighborhood because we've got a gray fox family, Mr. and Mrs. Fox, that live just down by the dam. And I'm pretty sure that he was in the neighborhood trying to going after those guys. So I never could get to the rifle out in the morning when I was drinking my coffee on the front porch. I never could get the rifle fast enough. Well, a couple of weeks ago, 2, 3, maybe 4 weeks ago, I had it on the table next to the coffee when he showed his mangy ass up. And my eyes are bad enough, I notched his ear.
You're slipping.
Bad eyesight and before morning, nautical twilight. But I notched his friggin' ear. And he went about 6 feet straight up, pivoted 180, and took off like his butt was on fire.
Yeah. Yeah, Tom, the coyotes do crossbreed. One of my shipmates that I worked with lives up in Vermont. His son killed one on their property, and it was a 70-pound coyote.
Woof.
And they took it to the game warden, and the game warden went, yeah, well, we're going to autopsy that one and take DNA samples. Turned out it was a wolf-coyote cross.
Woof.
Yeah. It was big. And, yeah, coyotes, wolves, and dogs are all crossbreeds.
Yeah.
Now, a friend of Larry's over in England, Jules, she has some wolf hybrids that are pets. I would not do that.
Not a big fan.
Yeah, I'm not either. German Shepherds are bad enough.
Ian, Jim wears glasses and outshot me in a long arm, no excuse. My dominant shooting eye, the retina is going to shit. So I do actually have an excuse.
Oh, they're full of wolves, Larry? Okay, I was not aware. I thought it were crossbreeds. Yeah, she's an interesting lady and co-wrote Loki's Fire with Larry. By the way, Larry, I got to tell you, I love the short stories, especially trying to figure out which short story went with which novel.
But
Wolfits.
Wolfits. I've gotten to the point. Big dogs. I'm not a big fan of big dogs. I never really was. We had a bull mastiff. It's the best dog I ever had. I love that guy. But generally speaking, I've always had cow dogs.
Yeah.
And cow dogs run about 30, 40 pounds. Healers, red healers, or Australian Kelpies, or Shetland sheepdogs, or generally I like them. And then I met Rita. And those two little Chiweenies, the miniature dachshunds, they're about right. I'm a big fan of 12 to 14 pound dogs these days.
Yeah.
Not Hater Tater.
Hater Tater, I wouldn't mind Hater Tater, but the attack potato hates my guts.
It's a damn Chihuahua. I hate Chihuahuas.
And the thing is, it loves Rita.
The only dog that's ever bitten me in my life was a damn Chihuahua.
There are poor excuses for dogs. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
No, it's this little gray potato on little bitty legs. It's
Toothless.
Like a little potato on legs.
It's a potato on little bitty stump legs.
Yeah.
And
it looks like those chicken women who are like little legs on top with an apple on top.
Yeah.
That's what this dog looks like.
And it cusses me out up one side. When Julie had to go do some stuff and we were taking care of the dogs,
Yeah.
I would walk in and that thing would start cussing me from the moment I walked in. And it's, you have to go out, and I'd have to chase that damn dog.
It would not go out for me. I would get the other dogs out, no problem. It would sit under the table and rah, 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 rah.
I'd get on the table and take off.
Yeah.
So I'd chase down the attack potato. And the one, I think last night, Rita came along because, she was, it's not that bad. Yeah, it's demeaning my personal ancestry. So we get out there and it starts telling me how the cow ate the cabbage. And I'm chasing down. It runs past Rita. Rita picks it up. And it's like,
yeah.
And it just snuggles on her. And it's, just telling her all about it. I've got a chainsaw and 8 chihuahuas and, you know, bad personal details. And she's going, "Oh, it's okay. He's a bad man." And it's like, and I looked at her and said, "Are you serious?" And the attack potato just, and we're just like, "Let's go out."
I love what Sean said. You know, if the potato is furry, you just toss it out.
Yeah.
I like that approach.
And leave it out.
I couldn't catch it. Oh,
I'm a fan of big dogs. I've had German Shepherds, Rottweilers.
How about they drool?
Yeah, they drool.
Oh my God, it's awful. The floor is all sticky from their drool.
When I was a kid, we had a guy living in Louisiana down at the pumping station. The guy gave us a dog, and it was, about 40 pounds. And I'm like 5 or 6 years old. And, I'm loving on this dog. And I remember the guy says, "It's a puppy."
oof.
And my daddy started laughing, and my mother was going, "Oh no." Turned out it was a cross between a bull mastiff and a Russian wolfhound.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Huge.
Damn dog weighed well over 100 pounds. I have a picture of me somewhere at the house of me riding it as a kid.
Like you do.
And that dog herded my ass all over that 3-acre backyard.
Con that was the bull mastiff. I got him when I was at Bug Scuffle. A couple of college girls had adopted him.
Yeah.
And they kept him hidden in their dorm room for the semester. And then when it was time to go home, they apparently hadn't. They were assuming that each of it was assuming the other was going to take it home.
Oh.
And they turfed it out. So I'm driving around a patrol, and there's that big ass dog looking scared and lost, and I'm a sucker. So I picked him up, and he was a good dog. He was a hell of a good dog. But he was 180 pounds, and he had this. When I brought him to Electra, we had this chain link fence, and that dog, apparently, the way Rita likes stinky cheeses. Cheeses that will just, you walk in and you want a yark.
Yeah.
And that is such a good cheese. Con felt that way about skunks. He would pull a skunk. He would get a skunk by the tail. When he'd turn around and spray him, he'd grab it by the tail.
Yeah.
Pull it through the chain link fence so it was
Pre-shredded.
Yeah, pre-tenderized.
Yeah. And
then we eat it from nose to tail right down to stink. And
didn't want to come in the house.
He was a house dog because we just have house dogs. I don't. I've been out in the in Africa and in West Texas. If you have outside dogs, you're going to lose them. So we always have. If you've had a dog taken by a leopard in the night, you'll have a house dog.
Yeah.
I do not. I have a serious case of the ass about people that have 20 to 40 pound dogs in Africa and they leave them outside on chains because all they are is a doggy McNugget for
appetizer.
Is an appetizer for a leopard, and leopards will take them. And I just.
Larry chimed in and says, "Uncle of mine found an orphan coyote pup in the mountains, brought it for him to raise. Raised him, and it was all good until he discovered the neighbor's chickens. Dusty was a good pet while he lasted." Yeah.
That's the great thing about having 14-pound chihuahuas, because they dislike the neighbor's chickens every bit as much, but they don't do near the damage.
Oh, really?
They don't.
That's your story, and you're sticking to it.
They haven't managed to kill one yet.
That you know of.
That point.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he would eat that skunk from nose to tail, including the stink, and then sweat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ooh, he was a stinky boy. He was a stinky boy.
I had a neighbor that killed one of my German Shepherds, poisoned it with hamburger meat.
Yeah.
Threw it over the fence.
Yep, probably soaked it The redneck, what the rednecks do, and I will beat wholesale ass if I catch anybody doing this, is, and I probably should admit this. Somebody once told me in offhand conversation that what he favored was getting a pack of meatballs from Sam's, soaking it in antifreeze and throwing it over the fence, and then wondered why he got smacked in the teeth.
Yeah.
I don't. Just don't. No.
Oh, Don, that's going to be fun. now they've got big things out there.
Whee!
That are not horses that have an attitude. I have never actually seen a Basenji in real life, Differs. Seen
Dude.
pictures of them.
I've heard them.
My sister had one.
They're apparently really hard to train.
They're impossible to train.
Yeah.
They're willful, little obnoxious dogs.
Yeah, this guy got busted in the mouth and then fired. I don't cotton to. Don't do it.
Yeah.
It came up. I was talking about the neighbors out back. There's neighbors across the alley. Their dogs, when they leave out, bark all night.
Yeah.
Like you do, I was bitching about the neighbors barking all night, and he said, "Go to Sam's, buy the meatballs, soak them in antifreeze, throw them over the fence." I wonder why he got smacked in the teeth.
Yeah, they did not like the fact that their little shit dog would try to attack Rex. And Rex was not having any of that.
No.
So it would come up to the fence, yap, 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 yap. And Rex would growl, and the dog would haul ass back to the house. Well, the next door neighbor's wife accused, via mama, accused me of sicking Rex on their precious little dog.
Keep your damn dog inside the fence.
Yeah. The dog was always inside the fence. So was Rex.
Yeah.
So I go off to college, and I come home, and I'm out in the backyard playing with Rex. And this little shit comes out, you know. And I just, pop my hands like that. And Rex growled, and the dog turns around and hauls ass.
It's our dog.
And this damn woman yells out the back door, "Don't you shoot at my dog."
Honey, I don't shoot at things. I shoot
Yeah.
things.
So I didn't think anything about it when in the house.
Except for coyotes. Apparently I just
Yeah.
knocked their ears.
And, went out and fed Rex that evening before supper. Went about 9 o'clock, went to call him in. He didn't come in.
No.
Went out, and he's laying over by the fence. And there's a half-chewed piece of hamburger sitting there.
Mm-hmm.
And could not get Mama to do anything. She got basically to send my ass back to school, keep me from doing something.
I think I'd have gone over and fed the rest of that hamburger to the lady.
All I know is the next time I came home from school, that neighbor had moved.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what went on. Liz, it was because I did that, and she thought it was a gunshot.
I would have.
Yeah.
And I have told people in the neighborhood, because we live in a kind of redneck neighborhood, said if something happens to my dogs, and if I think it's you, I will feed you whatever's left.
Yeah.
So you better make sure that, I don't.
David, I have no idea. Mama never said. The neighbors on the other side never said, but they were gone when I came back from college that spring. But dogs, animals in general, and depending on where you live, one thing, if you live out in the country, you don't shoot deer or anything that's a meat critter where you live, because there's no point in it. One, you're going to drive them off. Two, if you do need to hunt for food, it's a lot easier to do it out the bedroom window than it is have to trek 3, 4, 5 miles to go find something to eat. Depending on where you are and depending on the time of the year, that might be the difference between living and dying. Yeah, cats have their moments. Yes, Cedar, they do.
Yeah, Kitty Boo is apparently being a bad cat, which makes me feel bad because
Yeah.
I feel kind of guilty that
Have them both checked for diabetes. Suddenly, housebroken is one of the symptoms. Yeah. Now but one of the things you never do is you never hunt where you live.
not until you have to.
Not until you have to. Yeah. You hear stories about these people. Oh well, I killed this deer in the backyard. Actually, I had my cousin do that down in Georgia. He literally, we've been shooting his 357, just got a new python. We've been shooting in the backyard. I go inside to get another cup of coffee and trade one in, so to speak. And he walks in the house with me, and I hear boom inside the house. It's like, oh crap! What happens? I come screaming out of the bathroom, and he's standing at the kitchen window, going, "I'll be damned." And I looked at him. And I said, "What happened?" He says, "I got a deer. There's a hole in the screen." 8-point buck walked up in the backyard not 5 minutes after we walked in the house. And he's going, I couldn't let him go.
I looked up the first house I lived in Bugskull was out on the edge of town. I looked up, it was around the JA Ranch backed up to the house I was living in, renting. I looked out the window one time and there was a mule deer in the backyard.
Yeah.
And I don't know if he heard me running for the rifle or heard me go, but he took off like his butt was on fire.
Yeah.
Because I was fixing to have me some venison.
Yeah, the problem, which brings up an interesting problem when you're out hunting. When you're hunting regular deer and you see a muley, which is considerably larger.
Yeah, big bodied deer.
Yeah.
Yeah, for Texas.
And you misgauge the range. Did not end well. Got the deer.
I was going for a 7mm Magnum that was in the trunk of the squad car. I got really good at ditch rolling deer.
Yeah.
Because the first county I worked for in 1993, 94, my take home pay was $999 and change a month. That was my take home pay. So I got really, really good at ditch rolling deer. Somebody would call in that they'd hit a deer, and I could get the tenderloins, and I could
take them poison glands out.
I could break that deer down in nothing flat. And I lived on venison there for a couple of years in Clarendon. I was for it.
Liz, I retired the first time in 1992. Shut up.
I'd already done a tour and a half in the Army, so graduated in 85. But no, I was living on.
Yes, we're ancient. We're proud of it. We're above the dirt, looking down at it.
I had bought a vacuum sealer at for $10 at a
yard sale special.
And we'd get a call about a vehicle deer, and I'd be out there and I'd have break most of that deer down by the time the game warden showed up or TPS. Run back to the house and vacuum seal it, throw it in the freezer, and I was living off of venison there for a long time.
Yeah, Todd, you're almost catching up with us.
Oh, yeah. I graduated in '85.
Yeah.
So a lot of you. I am proudly Gen X. There was a TikTok video going around that it was I'm not sure, but it had all these ancient folks on there, and then it had Dad Bod Veteran and a couple others, and it had their ages, and every stinking one of them, they're like born 1980. It's
Yeah.
like seriously.
John, you graduated in 77. I was in my 7th year in the Navy. I've been to Vietnam twice. Well, off Vietnam anyway. Speaking of which, I am still pissed about that.
Vietnam.
Yeah, that freaking LTUE panel where we
Oh.
did ROE and somebody high-echoed off with my copy of the damn ROE from that.
Oh
Piece of shit.
no! It's 9 years. Somebody was 9 years old in '93.
Scotch for you.
I have literally been. I've had certified peace officers that looked at me all big-eyed and said, "Geez, you're older than my dad."
Yeah.
And they.
You're the pre-cell phone generation.
When you actually had to use your finger to dial it.
And the phone stayed at home.
Yes.
Yes, it did.
Around, goddammit.
Yes.
And you didn't know who was calling.
Nope.
Now caller ID was such a big deal.
I'm actually old
Pick
enough.
up the phone? No, I don't want to pick up the phone. It might be somebody you don't want to talk to.
My grandmother, when I would go visit her, she was still on a party line.
Yeah. First place I lived with my first husband and we're on a party line.
Yep. And she had one daughter-in-law that was nosy.
Oh,
Just one.
So she would, she was the first phone on the party line. So it was a one ring
yeah.
and she would pick it up and she would go, hello. And she would wait a second and she'd go, Helen, hang up. Because she could hear
Oh yeah.
that other line being picked up.
I refused. The longest time I refused to get an answering machine. I never did have an answering machine.
Yeah.
So when I wasn't in the house, people would call. You call.
When phones were on leashes and people were free. Yes.
Yeah, no kidding.
Oh boy, that was the
Poor
days.
Sushi. She's been trying to guess my age. She's going off graduation date, not realizing that I had a considerable advantage because I'd been tutored for 10 years before I got to 10 years before I got to the U.S. education system.
VR 549 was a real number. Yes. Graduated high school in 02. Jesus, kids,
Oh,
y'all are freaking kids. Get off my lawn.
right?
Yep, Sir Brass. That was true back in the day, which was God not that long ago actually. When you think about it, well, 1970s, late 70s, early 80s. The only way to get online was via modem.
Oh my God. I thought a 24 baud modem was the best thing ever. I was so thrilled when I got a 24 baud modem.
2400 baud was
I remember sacrificing a robot to get on the internet.
We are a special breed, the three of us, because we all know how to drive a stick shift.
yeah. That's the other thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the first modem I had was 300 baud.
Oh God, I remember those.
Yeah.
They were awful.
Yeah, and the only thing you could get online was a BBS,
Right.
and everything was text.
I remember when the cable and the ASDL were, I mean, if you had ASDL, you were in
DSL.
We
DSL.
remember Netscape.
Yeah.
the browser wars.
Hell, I love Netscape.
Me too.
It actually worked, unlike microcrap or soft. Yes, we had modems.
You put the phone in the cradle.
Yep.
First computer that we ever had at the house was a Commodore 64.
Yep.
And man,
Trash 80?
what?
You didn't have a trash 80?
Did not have a trash 80. We had a Commodore 64 because we were in tall cotton. And all that Commodore Basic I learned, Not worth a damn. I was hot stuff with the Commodore 64, and then
Yeah.
Commodore Basic went away, and all of that
Oh
knowledge.
God, trial
nothing.
subscription to Prodigy.
Oh my God. AOL discs in the mail.
Yeah, CompuServe. I actually, to get off AOL, I had to cancel a damn credit card.
Yeah.
Because
That's
they
not a
would
surprise.
not stop billing it.
I remember the days when you had cheap targets because AOL would send you targets. I'm sorry,
Oh yeah, disc.
CDs.
My mother made so many posters
Yeah.
of AOL discs. So
Friend of mine literally would go to all his buddies and go, "Hey, let me have your AOL disc." I asked him one time, I said, "What are you doing with those things?" He says, "That's what I use around my garden. Keep the deer out of it."
Oh yeah, yeah. Man, I used them because you could put them out a good distance and be able to find them in your scope.
CompuServe was a pain.
I remember when
You don't know
floppies were that damn big.
Yeah.
they were actually floppy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they were actually floppy.
Yeah.
I've had, y'all do realize that the save icon is a 3.5-inch disc, right?
Yeah. And Doug, you can have WordPerfect. I hated that friggin' program.
God, that was awful.
I had Q. Does anybody, or Q10? Does anybody else remember Q10? Does anybody else use Q10?
I remember it. I never used it.
I use the hell out of Q10.
I went with DR-DOS, not with Microsoft, for reasons.
The little 3.5-inch floppy is the save icon. And I've actually had some little shit tell me that I had 3D printed the save icon.
Yes, Kermit, I actually do remember punch cards. Used them in college.
Oh my God, don't drop your punch card.
Do not drop your punch cards.
Done on an IBM 1190 punch card machine that did not print the character set across the top of the card. And yes, I did drop the card stack one night
I'm fixing
going up to the
to
computer
do that
science
once.
building to have it run for a project. The
I-
only thing that saved my butt was a professor saw me drop it, saw me sit down, and goes, "I'll give you another 24 hours."
When for those of you trying to guess my age, I actually was required to take a semester of Fortran.
Yeah.
My first semester in college, I had to take Fortran.
Was it Fortran or was it Fortran 1 or Fortran 2?
It's basic Fortran.
You're not old enough to have taken basic Fortran.
I was required to take because I went in as I was an engineering student, and I was required to take basic Fortran because everything in college was in basic Fortran.
You're always behind.
Oh, I did not realize that, Sir Brass, because I was learning Fortran in 1969. Yeah, IBM 360 at Louisiana Tech. The first computer in a college in the state of Louisiana, because they got it for 1968 to run the election results.
Oof.
And at the time, Louisiana Tech was in the top 5 engineering schools in the United States. I do remember we had a couple of engineering students that were seniors running their senior project was a thing called an air bearing, which did not use lubrication,
Okay.
used pressurized air.
Okay.
Well, that's cool.
And they turned this shaft 12,000 RPM
Oof.
with no lubrication.
Damn.
Kermit. Ian, what was it like when dinosaurs walked the earth? A lot less complicated. Made a lot more sense.
We can work on our own cars then.
Yeah.
No
Yes.
kidding.
But the fun part was when one of the airports decided to freeze up a little bit, and the damn thing let go at 12,000 RPM.
Oof.
And they had it in a bunker. And, it's 9 o'clock at night. Of course, we're all in there working on our projects. All of a sudden, we're here, the foop, and the damn building shakes. The hell was that? Professor comes walking down the hallway and goes, "What did y'all do?" "Nothing. We're right
Nothing
here."
yet.
He goes, "Shit." And he goes running downstairs. Sure enough, they had put it in a steel cage, steel plate cage. That thing had dents.
Yeah, turned loose, didn't it?
Oh, boy, did it turn loose. But they passed.
So,
Now, Rick, they ran it with I forget, it was a geared 220 electric motor, and I do not remember what the gearing was, but it was significant.
for those of you a little more esoteric, my law enforcement academy, we had to qualify with revolvers, and I was issued a SAP when I got to my first blackjack, when I first got to my first agency. What color giant sloth? 7x57.
Yeah.
That's the answer for everything. 7mm Mauser is the caliber. That's the answer for everything.
30-06.
Anyway.
Pascal, yeah.
Instead of baton, yes, instead of baton. My sheriff hated batons because ass batons are designed to fail. They don't tell you this in the official literature, but at they actually weaken where the end of the sections where they connect, so that if you hit somebody at more pressure than is more force than is required to break a bone, the ass will fail. It will bend and crack at the joint, slip joint, and fail.
Yeah.
And that
Yeah, FBI qualification test. Yeah, they're out there. Good point, Richard. Yeah, Tom. I saw those when I was in Germany. I'm going, oh hell no, because they have a rubber exterior and they're lead cord.
Yep,
and they are heavy.
And they will strip the skin right off you.
Yep. Ruger 77, 7x57.
Schützenstock.
Yeah.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful.
Yes, sir, brass. Really, the late 80s. Glock first came to the U.S. in 88, because I bought my first one in 89. Still have it. Still shoot it.
Just planned obsolescence, or identify if excessive force was used to prevent excessive force being used.
Yeah.
Back then, they didn't really give a damn about excessive force. It's just that if it would fail before you could use excessive force, a whole bunch of the bigger city administrators were happy. The smaller towns, not so much. That's why we were still using the SAPs. Because sometimes you just got to break that collarbone so you move on to the next part of the dance.
Yeah, James, you'll have fun with that.
Hippo hide flails, shamboks. Shamboks are we do love us some shamboks. Shambok is a South African, Central African. Shambok, SJAMBOK, shambok. It's basically a whip made out of hippo hide. And you can't use them on horses. They're good for livestock. Can't use them on horses. Really shouldn't use them on people. And they're hellacious snake killers. There's minimal flex. There's a little bit of flex when you swing it. And then it narrows down. And when you hit a snake, it pops the head right off. It'll go right through a snake. And the synthetic shamboks, Mike's talking about from Cold Steel, synthetic ones are great. They will break up a riot in countries that I miss and that no longer exist. You could break up a riot with 5 cops with shamboks. You could break up a riot. I'm here to tell you.
Yeah. In the old school, old school cops that I grew up around, it was rubber hoses.
Oh yeah. Rubber hoses, especially if you put a couple of 2 or 3 double up buck in the hose,
Yeah.
and seal the end with wax. Those will break up a riot too.
Yep. Well, these were World War II veterans that didn't want to shoot anybody, but they weren't going to put up with much.
Nope. That's what phrase came from. What
Yeah.
phrase?
Yeah, the Glock actually first produced in '86, if I remember right, in Germany, and it was produced as a weapon for the German military.
So Bundeswehr.
Yeah, and the oddity, there were 2 oddities. One was the original Glock design magazine did not drop free,
No,
and that was actually done on
it
purpose.
was done on purpose because magazines are an accountable item in the military.
Yeah.
So if it didn't drop free, you had to pull it out with your hand, and that way you keep a hold of it.
Yeah.
So the original Glock non-drop free was a feature, not a flaw. It was literally designed that way.
82. Really? I didn't think it was that late.
Yeah, don't get me the line.
Maybe. Yeah, I'll take your word for it.
When I got in the Army, one of the things when I was at small arms school was learning the Beretta 82 or 92. God, that thing was a pain in my ass.
Yeah, it was Glock was Austrian, but he designed it in Germany, and it was sold to the Germans.
Beretta 92, you're not a SEAL if you haven't tasted Italian steel.
Beretta 92 is a piece of shit.
It's not bad, but it's a cereal box. If you get the DAO version, you get the double action only version, slick slide, and have somebody work over the trigger, it's a damn decent little revolver. It's 15-shot revolver, is what it is. But the early Glocks that the Navy and the Army got, the early Berettas that the Navy and the Army got, the pre-FS, locking blocks would snap off.
Well, not only that, the slides would crack on.
Yeah.
Because we got a couple of them to do test firings on, and about 2,000 rounds in, slides would start cracking.
You're not a SEAL if you haven't tasted Italian steel.
Yeah.
That slides would come off, hit you right in the mouth.
Yeah.
And the FS was the update to fix that little issue.
Yeah, Kermit, Gen 5 Glocks are obviously a hell of a lot better than the Gen 1s.
Yeah. Is Glock. It goes bang when you pull the trigger.
I do have to tell one funny story. I got this from Gunny. We were standing outside O&R smoking. He was up there meeting with the Navy Relief Society, which he supported, and he did a lot of ads and stuff for. And we're standing outside talking, and I was poking fun at him about Glocks, and he said, Arlie being Arlie, he said, well, yeah, they, pretty much I got one of everything except for, I forget which one he did not have one of. So he jokingly called the president of Glock America and said, I've been getting one of everything, but I don't have this particular one. And apparently about 3 weeks later, he says, I get a call from my gun store. Says, hey, come down and pick up your gun. He says, I go down there, and it's a Glock. It's the one I don't have.
Of course.
It's serial number 001. Gaston Glock had apparently sent him his personal, whichever model Glock it was. And I think that was just friggin' hilarious.
Yeah, the Glock, is gun.
Yeah.
It goes bang. I have a Glock 48 that I carry quite often. If I'm not carrying a revolver, I generally have a Glock 48 on. Not today. It's a damn decent little pistol. It really is.
Yeah.
I'm used to single stack magazines. I'm used to 8-round 9mm magazines. It's what I used in the military. When I was working with government, we had 8 rounds. So the 10-round magazine doesn't bother me, but it's the Glock 19, the standard Glock. The damn thing, it's too wide, and I have to horse around in my grip to drop the mag. So ain't nothing wrong with a Beretta 92. It's just a cereal box.
Yeah.
If you're trying to carry it, it's a cereal box. It's all still a cereal box.
Todd, everybody has pros and cons with grip angles.
Oh yeah.
I don't have a problem with Glock, ironically, because I can shoot them fine. I grew up shooting 1911s and revolvers, so the grip angle on a Glock doesn't bother me. The problem is I cannot shoot a Smith & Wesson M&P accurately. Everything is high and right. I cannot shoot a Springfield XD. Everything is high and right. Those grip angles are just far enough off. For some reason, the way I grip it, I'm high and right with everything. But you give me a 1911, you give me a Glock 17, Glock 42, whatever. My natural point of aim, I can do it with my eyes closed. Come out, look up, and I'm on target.
I do that with a HKP7.
Yeah.
Because I can't afford the damn things. HKP7 M8 is my absolute. I carried that. I carried that for years. Actually, I had it customized. Had to sell it.
Yeah.
Back in 2000 for some major medical issues. I sold most of my. I had about 40 guns I had to sell in 2000 for medical issues, and that was one of them. Had there's a Glock. I had the slide was engraved, and I had stag grips on it.
Yeah.
It was a damn decent little pistol.
Yeah. I'm sure you did have to report that foreign contact, Greg.
Hmm?
Oh, we've wasted another hour of your time, folks.
Holy crap, we have. And we went off in some weeds this time.
Yeah.
John isn't eyebrowing at us, so I'm guessing we didn't do too badly.
19X with the largest backstrap is nice. Yeah. Everybody, everybody's choice in guns is up to the individual.
Oh, yeah.
That's
Same thing with double-edged razors. I've got into a discussion about safety razors and about how I'm not going to get started on that because boy, that's off in the weeds. Safety razors off in the weeds for me.
Yes, Browning high powers are excellent pistols too.
Yes, they are. Browning high powers are great.
Anyway, folks, y'all have a great day. Hopefully you've got better weather than we've got.
It's going to be 100 degrees here.
Yeah.
I protest.
Yeah.
100 degrees and 130% humidity.
Yeah, I'm hoping we don't mildew either. Although I just like the damn streets to dry out enough or the yard to dry out enough so I can mow.
Oh, and Richard likes the Pilot Varsity. It's a damn decent fountain pen, isn't it?
Yeah. Anyway, folks, y'all, safety razor ran on Thursday. No. Yeah, hell, who knows what we'll talk about on Thursday.
If you think I don't know what we're going to talk about when this thing goes live most of the time.
Yeah.
Not a clue. I'm just squirrels, glow stick. Let's go.
Oh, just remember, folks, don't pet the sweaty stuff. Don't sweat the petty stuff.
Be safe.
We'll see you later. And yes, we have proof of life. Johnna's alive and well.
Jonna is alive.
Well, not going to say well. She's alive.
She's alive. And less grouchy.
Yeah. Y'all take care. Bye.